Chelsea, I keep mentioning that story because it's getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And also on Tuesday, Chelsea made new progress to sign Jorel Hato from Ajax. So this is very close now. It's about the final details, and then Jorel Hato will be new Chelsea player. The Here We Go is coming soon. The agreement with Chelsea and between Chelsea and Ajax is imminent. They're working on these final details of the deal because, as I told you, Chelsea wanted to pay 40 million euros. Ajax started from 55, but let me say that the common ground is going to be a bit more than 40, with some add-ons included. So they are working on the structure of the deal. Hato is ready to sign a very long contract at Chelsea. He already said yes to this opportunity, and let me confirm that obviously he can be an important centre-back, left-footed, but also left-back when needed, and some backup for Marco Cucurella. I told you in the previous video about a new contract. I can tell you that, according to my information, they are already working on a new contract for Marco Cucurella. Chelsea are expected to submit a new contract proposal to Cucurella very soon. Talks have started already to prepare the future of Marco Cucurella, and so work in progress on that one, with Cucurella, who can be extending his contract at Chelsea very, very soon. In the next weeks or months, there will be a concrete discussion for Cucurella, new deal at Chelsea. Then, guys, said about Jorel Hato joining very soon. I wanted to tell you again about Alejandro Garnacho to explain something. That Garnacho Chelsea is still an option, is still a possibility being discussed internally at Chelsea, is still a possibility that they consider for the month of August. So it's probably going to take some time, but Chelsea appreciate Alejandro Garnacho as an opportunity if Man United conditions will match Chelsea conditions. Let me tell you that for Garnacho, this is not directly linked to Xavi Simons. So, as I always told you, Xavi Simons is a topic. Garnacho is a separate topic. Obviously, to make everything happen, you need Sterling to go, Nkunku to go. Let's see what happens with Nico Jackson. Joe Felix went to Al Nassr. So obviously, the domino is also when you have to sell or offload some player. So it's going to be important also that part. But let me say that in terms of timing, in terms of strategy, for Chelsea it's quite clear. First step, go for Xavi Simons. Negotiations advanced with Leipzig. And then second step, consider Garnacho as an opportunity for the final weeks of the window.
Chelsea are set to make another young addition to their squad. Ajax's 19-year-old defender Jorel Hato will be making the move from Stamford Bridge to Stamford Bridge for around 40 million euros. Now, he's expected to sign a 7-year contract with the Blues. All right, we've got Jan and we've got Gab back with us. Gab, let me come to you because I know you're very close to Chelsea in those parts in London. How do you see him fitting into this squad now? Because I think the last thing a lot of people were wondering is if Chelsea could actually sign any more players.
Again, from the boring PSR financial sustainability angle, obviously deals like the Joao Felix deal, and they help. And I still think that they're pretty confident they can move others out. I don't necessarily know that Chelsea view it like that. They want to accumulate young talent and kind of see where it fits in later on. Is he somebody that they definitely needed in the here and now? Probably not.
Jan, is he one for the future to be a squad player now, or do you see him getting a start anytime soon?
I think you will get games because there are a lot of games during the season, but I think that the philosophy of Chelsea now, they want the hottest prospects, and this is one of the hottest prospects. We talked about Šeško in the age of 22, has played a lot of games. This guy is 19, he's played for a couple of seasons, he's an international. I mean, it's the right player to get, and the philosophy of Chelsea, if the right player is available, we have a chance to get him, give him at least a 7-year deal. And as Gab is saying, Chelsea are very confident that they can get players out. They have a way of selling to the Saudis anyway. So that is a bank guarantee for them. And I was discussing with someone on X about Chelsea, and then a guy just posted me and he said, Jan, we are the best team in the world for the next 4 years.
Oh,
so
Jan had to get that in.
Yeah. So when the best team in the world want a young player, they should get him.
They should get him indeed. They are world champions. Jan reminds us every single show, and here we are winding up all the Chelsea fans as well. What do you think of this, Stevie?
I'm trying to figure out from the player's point of view. You know, the fact that he's played a lot of games is great. But to go and play a lot of games and then all of a sudden make a move and then you don't play, That's not easy for a 19-year-old. You know, Gab's saying he's mature. Well, he might be mature on the field, but to go to London and then to be sitting on your backside and not playing, because if you're not playing, you're not going to get any better. You know, if he's one for the future, you've got to play games. Now, you can say, all right, he can play in the League Cup, he can play in the FA Cup, but if you're Jorel Hato, you want to be playing week in and week out and then fulfil the potential you have sooner rather than later. So, great move for Chelsea. Guy's a great player right now, but is it going to stifle his maturity? One thing that will do that is sitting on your backside.
All right, well, let me show you this graphic, because one thing's for sure, Chelsea are not short of attacking options, especially forwards and midfielders. So, Gab, let me come to you in this one, because we see Xavi Simons there. Are you surprised by Chelsea's interest in him?
Again, I think he fits into that mold of players who can, who are versatile and who are young and who are very promising. Does it make sense in the sense, can I give him minutes straight away, depending on how you want to use Xavi Simons? We have him, I think he's more of an attacking midfielder, more of a 10 possibly, than as a winger. And, you have Cole Palmer, and then we've seen Cole Palmer play wide. We've seen Enzo play in that position. We saw Pedro can play at a 10. And, of course, Kendry Paz is on his way, too. So no, I think they look at this and they say, all right, is there value in the player? If we have to pay 60 million for him, but we think he's a 75 million, 80 million guy, let's pull the trigger and then we'll figure out later. As long as you're good at moving players out at the right price, you can get away with that. For me personally, what I would say about Simons is, obviously you're talking about a guy, he was at Paris Saint-Germain, he was at Leipzig, he's a full-on Dutch international. I think he's the kind of player that if he moves, he's going to expect to start. And I think he's going to be careful about where he goes to. I don't think he would want to be a squad player. He doesn't see himself necessarily as that kind of player. So I am a little bit surprised. I personally think if Simons comes, this would suggest to me that another big or biggish player might be moving on the way out, and he would have a pathway, into the first team where he could compete regularly for football. Because this is not a guy that's where Jorel Hato is, where they can tell him, sit behind Cucurella for a couple years and play in the League Cup. This is a guy who's played Champions League football. He's a full-on Dutch international. This is a big star who's coming in.
Yeah, and you heard Gab, this is a full-on Dutch international. He is a big star. If he makes the move to Chelsea, he's not there to be a squad player. He's going to expect starts. How good is he?
He wouldn't play in my starting 11 at Chelsea. I couldn't see him right now if I put up, of all the players you put in there, all the flexible kind of choices you have to pick of that roster that you showed us, I wouldn't put him straight into the team.
Chelsea are very close to completing a double signing, with highly rated Dutch stars Jorel Hato and Xavi Simons set to join the club. Talks with both Ajax and RB Leipzig have progressed rapidly, and the Blues have now reached advanced stages of negotiations for both players. Personal terms are understood to be fully agreed, and the final details are being sorted before official announcements are made. Xavi Simons is expected to bring creativity and attacking quality to Chelsea's midfield, while Jorel Hato will strengthen the defensive line with his pace and intelligence. With Enzo Maresca pushing for these key additions, Chelsea fans can expect the club to announce both signings very soon as preparations continue for the upcoming season.